And go.
Hi, welcome to another episode of Addicted to the Q. We are with our traveling buddies, Amy and Glenn with Curly Bird BBQ. The episode, as you may know, is Where is Curly Bird BBQ? So, guys, where are you at now?
Well, thanks for having us on, guys. Amy, where are we at?
We moved so much, she doesn't even know. We are currently in Monterey Bay, California.
And last we spoke was New Zealand. I believe.
Yeah, we've been a lot of places since New Zealand.
Nice. So where have you been in the last 3 months since we've spoke?
Dallas, Texas, Little Rock, Arkansas, bit of time in Oklahoma.
Hinton, Oklahoma,
Yeah.
Which is about an hour west of Oklahoma City.
Okay.
Stopped for an overnight in New Mexico, but we won't really talk about that much. It's just a quick thing. Did a week in Phoenix.
And we were in Wichita for a minute.
Oh, yeah. Went to Wichita for a minute.
And then we were in the San Diego area.
Yep.
And then San Luis Obispo. And now we're in Monterey for another week. And then we're heading further north.
Nice.
North as in?
We're going to go to Red Bluff next, which is right in the middle of the Redwood Forests.
Okay.
And then we're going to spend some time in Oregon. And then we're heading up to Seattle.
Yep.
Nice.
Before...
You're going to hit the Space Needle? Is that what they call that in Seattle?
Yeah.
Yes, it's in Seattle. Possibly. I don't know if you guys know, but Glenn is afraid of heights.
This is a true story.
And so every time I try to get him to do cool things up high, he nopes out.
You say cool things. You guys had this one thing where you're going to bungee me off of this side of this building. It wasn't like a bungee cord dropping. They were just going to swing you out and hope you come back. I don't know.
Hope you come back.
That's how it felt like to me when you were selling it. So,
what's your life insurance policy? Is it pretty well updated, Glenn? Just ask.
How do you ask that? Because she asked the same thing
actually.
before she that's fine, but your insurance is good. She brings
was
up
that the red flag for no, we're not doing this?
All sorts of red flags. Yeah,
I would have done it. I've done it before. I think it's fun, but I'll tell you what, I was 16 the very first time I did one, and it was no fear, but scared at the same time.
Yeah.
A quick pause to thank our sponsors, King Louie Meat Apostle, Barbecue Rub, our charcoal of choice, The Good Charcoal Company, the best drums on the market, Hunsaker Drums, OG Bandits Barbecue and Catering, our instant read thermometers, Warhorse Trading Company, Rum Runners Barbecue out of Florida, Butcher Barbecue. Now back to Brad, Brian, and the bum.
I have gotten him to do some pretty cool things. We did when we were in New Zealand the first time we did this. No, that wasn't in New Zealand. That was in Minnesota. We were in Minnesota and we did a whole bunch of zip lining.
Mm-hmm.
But it was zip line. It wasn't amusement park.
Yeah.
Go from here to here. It was way up high in these trees.
Yep.
And so Glenn did that, and then they ended it with a 50-foot drop. And he didn't want to, but he did it. And
yep.
I was impressed with that. And we went to the boardwalk in San Diego on, I think it was Mission Beach, but they had all these cutesy little amusement things. And Glenn climbed up 2 stories and hooked himself in and walked around on this rope course situation, and he was not happy, but he did it.
Mm-hmm.
I was pretty impressed.
You should have just dropped him off at MCRD San Diego, and
they would do that. You seen this man? No. He could not.
Did you? What is the name of that place? Gasoline Alley, Gas Lamp Alley, Gaslight Alley?
I don't know because I wasn't a Marine.
It's like a outdoor mall thing close to I think it's close to Orange County. I'm not sure. I know where it's at, but I can't remember the name. It's been so long.
I just picture Glenn in an amusement park riding the carousel. That's what I picture. That's about the extent of his.
No, I'm more of a roller coaster guy. I love roller coasters. That's my.
But you don't like heights, but you like roller coasters?
Yeah. yeah, it's, you know,
I mean,
not liking something doesn't mean I don't do it. Like it's just you know, one of those things where it's like you get the rush of it, you know.
they're
So,
buckled in tight too.
that's right.
Well, we definitely were not at the roller
Well,
coaster there, and
it's
it's
an old
100 years old, and
Oh, gee.
it's a
wooden
landmark, like a
Yeah.
national landmark. This roller coaster, and for no like flips or anything, and just being this old wooden thing, it was a good time.
Yeah.
That's
The
cool.
back was way more fun than the front.
Yeah,
But-
you really get
Yeah.
a lot more, you know.
Jostling
Yeah.
and air time.
Yeah.
Nice.
So what have you guys been cooking in California?
Yeah.
Oh,
So one of the things we've been cooking a lot that you find here that you don't find in the Midwest is tri-tip. So it's one of the things, like, you know, even in Phoenix, most of the grocery stores would have like a tri-tip as you go in. So we tried one there the first time, and then have done it a couple more times here in California. And it's a really interesting cut of meat to cook. And they even do competitions out here with tri-tip as one of the entries. You know, like there's one that we were just looking at the other day, just kind of, you know, what do they have? And it was ribs, chicken, and tri-tip.
tri-tip was the people's choice.
Yeah, they did. Yeah.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
The high school barbecue up here did tri-tip last year as their beef category, brisket category.
Yeah, that's interesting. Because like it's a harder cut to find in the Midwest. I've found, at least it's just not one you go into like any place and they're just going to have a tri-tip. You know.
Well, on the contrary, I just went into my Price Chopper grocery store and they carry it.
Oh, really?
But they have not carried it in the last 10 years either.
Okay. Yeah, I was like, I hadn't seen those. Like, yeah. So
Yeah.
maybe that's changing. That's fantastic. It is, because
I don't know. I saw it. I was excited. I was like, oh, finally somebody around here has a tri-tip.
Yeah, it's a wonderful cut of meat. It's a challenging cut in some ways because the grain runs two different directions. So when you're slicing it, you got to be mindful of the grain and know when that switches. So, but yeah, I don't know. We cooked one this week, and it was pretty awesome. It's gone almost as quick as I could slice it. The teenager came in and Amy, and they were just like right off the cutting board.
Wait, time out. So now we're at calling him the teenager.
I mean, we could call him the stinky dude. And, yeah,
So
we got a new camper. He has his own bedroom now, and like the whole thing just smells terrible.
oh yeah.
Terrible.
It smells like teenager.
Yo, gross.
So how did you cook yours? Brad has said he loves smoking them like a brisket.
I do like them both ways, but if I need to cook a steak, I'll cook a ribeye. I don't really like tri-tip cooked like a steak, but
So I did mine as a reverse sear, similar to what I do as a steak. So I think the most important part is the salt ahead of time. So salt it with sea salt or, you know, kosher salt an hour or so before I put it on the grill. And then I started at 250 until it reaches an internal temp of about 110. And then I pull it off and crank the heat up to 700 and then sear it 90 seconds aside.
So he's smoking it.
So I smoke it at 250 till it gets to 110 and then pull it off to get the grill smoking hot to 700 and put it back on at 90 degrees aside. And then that'll come off as a really great medium rare. And I was practicing the grill lines on this one. So I'd do 45 seconds, one angle, and then 45 seconds, another angle, and then flip, and then flip. You know,
Yeah.
so, and it came out really nice.
Did you know how to do anything with the tri-tip before?
We had not ever cooked it before. We had some friends that had cooked it. Brad and Bree, they'd cooked some at the BBQ, and we were messaging them like, "Hey, do you have any tips?" You know, and they give us some pointers. And similar to the stuff I've already shared, like, you know, it's really important to understand the grain, where to cut it. You know, you don't have to go crazy with the seasoning at first, just to get an understanding what the meat's doing. So that's why I always like to start with salt and then figure out from there, because it's always going to need salt. you know.
Yeah.
Then the other stuff is just beyond that. But
did you become YouTube certified?
No, we're so ridiculous. So we'll actually just get in and cook some shit. Oh, sorry. Am I allowed to? I don't remember if I'm allowed to curse on this or not. Okay, we'll just get something and cook it to see what happens.
Yeah.
And then we play with it from there. And if we still are really struggling with something, then we'll jump into YouTube. But since we've been doing competition as hard as we've been doing it, we very rarely jump on the YouTube anymore.
First, it's usually an after the fact. And a lot of times it's, oh, maybe I'm looking for some weird tip or some, edge thing, but it's, I feel like in this case, I didn't feel like any need, like, oh, okay, I kind of understand what this meat's doing. As I'm trimming it, like, there's reminiscence of brisket as you're trimming it. Because all the tri-tips I've gotten anyway, they have a chunk of fat, they have a fat cap to it. Take all that off and some silver skin, just like cleaning up a brisket, and then
and then cook it like a steak.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
If you're like me, I find ridiculous stuff to just try for a YouTube video. I guess if it's a fail, it's a fail, and I say it's a fail, but I'm like, never tried this before. Let's do an experiment on YouTube.
Yeah. If we had the drive, I would love to someday have a YouTube channel, and like, it's just so much work. And
a lot of work.
Yeah, and I have a hard time slowing Glenn down. Like, he'll get real excited about something, and so I'm lucky if I get a picture of it when it's done.
That's true.
Because I'll plan it out, and I'll be like, okay, I want to post this on our social, right? So we need to do this, and we need to do this, and I need the before, and I need to get things to be trimming, and like, all of those action shots, and then the 2 hours to go through and like edit and whatnot. But by the time I'm like there and ready, Glenn's got it on the grill for 30 minutes, and I'm like, well, we missed all the beginning stuff, so I guess I'll just take a picture of it when it's done.
Or like my kids, they get in life, they get impatient and wanting to eat, and after I'm gonna take the 7 pictures of it after it's done, and then before we can eat.
Yeah. I do have a couple of photos of Glenn making a frowny face while I take pictures of food, because he was ready.
Yeah.
He was ready.
Yeah.
He's like, I want to eat. Heck with this photo stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So do you put anything else on it besides the salt, like pepper, or try any of like our rubs or anything?
Not yet, only because, like I said, we've only done like 3 of them, and the second one I didn't turn out right, and I kind of found out I was having some heat issues with my grill that I got worked out. But anyway, so like I've only started with salt just to like really get a good feeling of that before I start adding anything else.
But we've definitely done side-by-side comparisons when it comes to steak, and like cooking it with just salt and cooking it with like a marinade or some other things. And we did one when we taught our masterclass in New Zealand, where we marinated ribeye in Dales. We took some Dales down there, and then we just let it sit for 45 minutes with salt. And hands down,
the salt was better.
The salt was so much better.
I'm not a fan of Dale. Sometimes I think it almost gets it too, what's the word I'm looking for? Beefy, too much of like an artificial beef flavor.
Yeah, if you do them side by side, it really just it doesn't amplify the flavor like what just plain salt does. And the tenderness wasn't as good either. And so, maybe with that marinade, it needs to go longer than a dry brine does. I don't know. I mean, there could be some of that, but I think it's more than anything, just it's the effectiveness of what that salt does, both from a moisture and a flavor process,
Yeah, because I think a lot of people just really don't understand the importance and the strength of salt. Like, we know that salt is high in a lot of rubs. But I don't think they really understand on a like molecular level what is happening to the meat when you salt it. So like when we do our ribs, the rubs we use have a high salt content, and I think people know the term sweating the meat, where you know, rub it and then you let it sit and it kind of gets juicy on top, and then an hour later it's not dry, but it has reabsorbed all of that. But just on that, like, it's the salt that is doing all of that for you. So when you have a steak or, you know, a cut of meat like this, you can just dump a lot of salt on it, and if it's your first time, put salt on there and then put some more on there, and it better not be that iodized table salt BS. Don't do that. That's bad. But, you know, some sea salt or
these old are kosher or
kosher salt.
We've been playing with Maldon salt. Have you guys come across this?
Never heard of that.
Okay. We don't have the box, but it's like no, we just got it in the thing. So it's, anyway, Maldon salt. It's not going to show up in the camera very well, but it's got these really big flakes.
Giant flakes.
I don't know that I can get up close enough.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Dang.
Okay. And so
I mean, it's like as big as the tip of your finger, your baby finger.
And then you can take it and rub it between your fingers to change the grain size to smaller, or you can leave them big as flakes or whatever. So it allows you to kind of change the different salt consistency. And it's so you can use like really big flakes if you're, you know, doing a dry brine ahead of time, like for a steak or something. Really big flakes work great for that. But then if you're doing like a finishing, like just before you're going to eat it, and you just need a little bit more kick, then, you know, pinch it a little bit to grind it up a little bit more, and then it gives you that kind of, or put it in a grinder, you know, either way. Anyway, yeah, Maldon salt. It's fun. It's been an interesting salt to play with. It's very versatile, you know.
How'd you find out about that salt?
Another barbecue team.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We might or might not have heard that from Janky Leg. He was like, oh, I got in a YouTube spiral and I just like fell down this hole, and all these chefs were going on and on about Maldon salt. And so I got some, and I was like, Clint, he's gonna get some of that salt.
Yeah.
Because we do a lot of stuff, right? Like, we don't just cook barbecue. Right. We're pretty solid cooks in a lot of spaces. So
so we've used it for a lot of things. Salmon and I don't know, can't remember all the different things I've used it on already, but it's
mushrooms,
eggs. Like it's just been a fun salt to play with. And so yeah, I mean, it's I talk a lot about salt because like especially when people are like first getting into cooking or grilling or whatever, and it's like, you know, what's the magical rub? And it's like, first thing you need to understand is salt. Like it sets up everything else, you know.
Yeah.
So on your travels, what have you ate that has been new to you?
Okay, so we went down to the Fisherman's Wharf the other day.
In Monterey, not
Monterey.
in San Francisco. Monterey.
Yeah, Monterey, Fisherman's Wharf. And there's this restaurant there, and they had calamari steak. Okay, so I'm used to calamari rings, like you go to any Olive Garden or whatever, like calamari rings, which are the tentacles of the squid. But calamari steak is from the bigger part of the body, and they slice it out and make these steaks that are pretty thin. And then you have to sear it really quickly, or it'll get all mushy. But they did it
chewy.
Or chewy, yeah. But they did it perfectly, and it was just like
it was so good.
So good. Yeah. But I'd never seen anything like that. Of course, growing up in Kansas, pretty landlocked, not a lot of ocean around. So that makes sense, I guess. But
not really hopping down to the beach and pulling in squid.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's only, a couple day drive.
Yeah.
That's
that
crazy.
Calamari steak was amazing.
I've never heard of a calamari steak. I've seen calamari Olive Garden and some other places, but that's
Glenn pointed out on the menu, and he's like, "What is a calamari steak?"
So
we're full on like Googling, like I don't know, like is it a steak with calamari on top, like some fried calamari on top, like what is happening here? And just see all these pictures, and I'm like, what the heck?
That's good.
And so we ordered calamari as our appetizer, and I'm Glenn, you're not gonna order this steak. We're eating calamari, and he's like, why can't I?
Yeah.
So, go for it, man. And it was amazing.
It was good.
It was amazing. I had some linguine in a rosé sauce, and they had put like huge chunks of salmon on top. And I mean, I've had salmon before, but I don't think I would have ever thought to put it with a tomato-based sauce. Like I don't know, it just feels like those things shouldn't go together, but they went together wonderfully. And then I got a little tipsy on pineapple mimosas and was proclaiming to Glenn that under no circumstances was I going to take leftovers home to our teenager. And I couldn't finish it.
She tapped out.
I couldn't. And I brought it home and I was telling Cam that story and he was like personally offended that I wasn't going to share it because it was so good. Like he just hoovered it and then was like, why isn't there more? It wasn't for you. It was for me.
That's hilarious.
It was funny. We also tried daikon radish, which I know is not like you can get that in the Midwest, but we had never eaten it. And so we had that in a salad. Like they had lightly vinegared it and put it in a salad. And the vinaigrette that they put on top of the salad was garlic, like a garlic vinaigrette.
Yeah.
And it was amazing.
It was really good.
Like I like garlic, and the thought of like garlic and some oil poured on here does not sound delicious, but y'all,
it was good.
That's not how it was, and it was so good.
Daikon radish wasn't like sharp and stuff like a regular radish was. It was much lighter flavor to it, but still nice and crunchy and crisp. And that was a really good.
We were really impressed. We picked up some jicama, which I think of as only a California thing. Glenn's never had it, so I'm excited. But I'm gonna make a jicama and orange salad with a lime vinaigrette this week. And I don't know how to explain jicama other than it's like it's kind of like a dry apple, maybe, but it's got a mild starchiness to it. Like if you were to eat a piece of raw potato, that's not super delicious, but you can like taste that little bit of starchy. So it's sweet like an apple and it's crisp like an apple, but it's got just a tiny little bit of that like starchiness to it. And so I'm gonna mix it up with some fruit this week and a lime vinaigrette and stick it on some spinach, and we're gonna have some tacos because Baja tacos is so much better than Tex-Mex.
We've had that before, and we added crushed walnuts to it.
Ooh, that sounds good.
Yeah.
It was really good.
Way too much veggies for this dude.
Well, Brad, I'm sorry about your life, but I was just reading something. Poor Glenn. Here you go. Pray for Glenn. I was reading something not that long ago that was talking about women when they hit a certain age and have some hormonal things. Red meat is like really not good for us. So poor Glenn has been on a low meat diet for the last couple of weeks.
Forced.
As I've been working my way through my favorite vegetarian cookbook.
Ugh.
I can see
He would have a shirt that says vegetables are not food, they're what food eats.
Glenn pulls a grill out, throws a chicken on. Hey, it's not red meat.
It's not. And we've been eating a little chicken. I didn't like I'm not no meat. And obviously we're still eating red meat because we had some tri-tip on Friday. But I have been eating less. And since I meal plan for the family, we've been eating a lot of mushrooms.
Good mushrooms or the naughty mushrooms?
The sea stuff
mushrooms.
Like, not the...
A lot of portobellas.
Yeah,
and some white buttons.
Grilled portobello. Yeah.
So good. We smoke portobello. Do you ever smoke portobellos for your wife?
Never done that.
That's really good.
Brian, why don't you love her?
I do. I just love the smell of a grilled portobello. So I'll stand out there, throw that on next to like burgers, and I'm just like, God, that smell.
Yeah.
So good. Yeah, we smoke them. I'll smoke them and then I'll sear them like after.
Yeah.
But I always start them cap up and then I'll turn them like after 10 minutes. And then all those juices get up in there. As they're, yeah.
Yeah. I'll have to do that. I'll have to do that.
Yeah. And then you chop them up and you make tacos out of them or something. They're so good.
Oh, it'll just sit flat on the plate and we'll just slice into it with the fork.
I mean, you could do that
too. Steak.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So yummy. And salt.
Yeah. Yeah.
She has to go with the dog into the other room. Yeah. He's scratching the door.
Get away. So are we in a new trailer?
Yeah, we're in a new camper. We got, or new to us. It's, yeah, our old one was,
our old one's for sale.
Still,
it is still for sale. So it's in Dallas right now, on a consignment lot, and it was perfect for the two of us.
Yeah,
and it was a great barbecue trailer, and it worked for all of that, and it was fine even when we were living in it, like just the two of us. But when we added Cam, it added a dimension that we just couldn't sustain.
Yeah.
He needed a stinky bedroom.
Yes.
We needed him to not be stinky near us.
Yeah.
Is maybe
so
the best way.
Yeah. So this is a fifth wheel, and so it's got a garage area, and and that's where his bed is, and the bed's on like a lift. So like when we're driving, we put the bed to the top, and the smokers can live under that. And then when we park, then bed comes down. That's his room. He's got his own bathroom back there, and then we've got a living space, and then our bedroom. It has slide outs as well. So we gained. It's almost double the space than what the other one had. It's 10 foot longer, so it's about 40 feet.
Yeah, and then it's got like a 10-foot patio.
Nice.
10 to 11 feet.
When the back comes down as patio. Yeah.
So we plan on cooking off the back of that. I mean, we have a couple of times, but most of the time we just unload stuff and then close it back up because it's not a competition and we're not cooking all day for the entire day. But
it's also quite a bit taller. It's like 13 and a half feet or something like that. And that's been a little bit different to get used to because it's so much higher to like picture. You got trees, even in town, somewhere where trees haven't been trimmed back. And I'm like starting to like, all right.
Glen ducks for the camper.
Yeah.
It's scientific. It helps.
Glen ducks, but the AC unit still falls off.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. And every time we even when we're not pulling the camper and we're just driving around whatever town we're in, they'll be like, oh, 14.4. Like he's just saying out loud what the heights are
all the signs. I'm like, okay, that one was like 14 feet right at, and it's like
he's like, oh, we probably wouldn't have gone under that one. And I'm like, you're right, because this is nowhere near our camper.
Yeah,
we're not in our camper.
Yeah,
exactly.
Nice.
And also, why would we bring our camper through this tunnel to go to wherever we're going?
On that note, if anybody else like getting a GPS that takes into account the size of your rig, that's a thing that Google Maps does not do. And so we've been using RV Life, and you can put in dimensions of your rig, and then it takes you through paths that will fit. So it doesn't take you under low tunnels and whatnot.
And through roads that'll kill you in the Smoky Mountains.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. We talked about that, right? That
yes.
absolutely terrifying
Those
experience.
Roads are, I mean, they're just crazy in a car, not even pulling a camper or a big fifth wheel or anything. They're just crazy in a car.
Yeah. Yes. And when we were going from Phoenix to San Diego, I'm looking at this map and RV Life is like, it's fine, you're going to be fine. And we're seeing these signs that are like 40-foot, trailers not allowed. And ours is 39.9.
Yeah. So it's like,
and then it'll say things like from the hitch to the wheelbase, 30 feet, or more than 30 feet not allowed. And we're like, are we going to die? Like, are we about to have the exact same experience coming over these mountains into California? Like, oh my God, I'm so scared. And we were fine.
Yeah,
We were
the roads-
totally fine.
Totally fine. Like the roads are great. You know,
They looked
were,
scary on the map,
yeah,
but
they were
RV
really-
life had our back.
They were really
Yeah.
twisty, but like roads are fine. Oh, the other cool thing about California so far has been the rest areas. We've had to overnight in one, but we've seen several along the way, and like they're pretty nice.
They're
Like,
legit.
they're not scary. They got good spots for you to like pull in and overnight.
Huh.
I don't know. One of
It's
them
not
had
like-
a food truck in it.
Not like the
Yeah.
ones on I-70.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that was kind of the comparison I was coming to, because that was my thing to correlate to growing up. But
Yeah, they're really, really big, nice buildings, huge parking spots for semis and RVs, and then, regular cars or whatever. I mean, they don't have hookups or anything. It's not that level, but yeah, Glenn's not wrong. The one we stayed in, there was a little Hispanic dude who just rolled up in his truck. And when we pulled in, there had been another one who was just like closing down for the day.
But yeah, they set up a little food truck, and then people that are coming in, they could stop, use the rest area, got a little
It
food
was
truck. I'm like,
brilliant.
that's a great idea, man.
Yeah,
So smart.
So
that's
There you
cool.
go. You don't have to sling eggs, Brian. You could go sell barbecue at the rest area.
Right? Right. There we go. So, what else have you guys cooked, or something that's like a great restaurant you've had out there in California?
Okay, I feel like I have to get up into my where those like if I look at pictures, it's gonna refresh my memory.
While
Yeah,
you're
we
at
talked
that,
about-
I
Yeah,
was
go
gonna say,
ahead.
while she's looking, Glenn, has she made you any great type of a breakfast, like the biscuits and gravy tacos or anything?
No, she's not.
Yes, you liar!
Okay.
What about the strawberry stuff on the bread and you didn't love that?
Oh.
No, divorce.
So Amy's been playing with balsamic vinegar and strawberries, and then put that on like some toast with cream cheese.
That sounds good.
And that's a really great combination. I mean, just the strawberries and vinegar together is interesting.
The vinegar we're using is a vanilla infused balsamic.
Yeah.
And so it just has like that extra little something in it. Yeah. And then some strawberries and some basil on top, and then whipped cream cheese. Like that was pretty darn good.
That was good.
Brad, you know what whipped cream cheese is, but all the rest you might have to Google it.
She knows what strawberries are.
What balsamic vinegar is.
I know. I'm like,
Oh
it's not
man,
the best,
that looks so good.
Yeah.
right?
We like to make balsamic vinegar chicken.
Is that fresh basil?
Yeah.
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 That looks so good.
Yes.
Have we talked about avocados, smoked avocados, when you're making guac?
We might have on Facebook because I've done that.
Oh, okay, yeah. Those are one of the
That's
things
my favorite
you know,
way to have an avocado.
especially put like a garlic jalapeno type rub or something on it.
Yeah.
There's a number of different things. Your white noise, right? Like, I mean,
Yep.
put a little bit of that on there. The stuffed.
Yeah, we
zucchini.
stuffed and smoked some zucchini. More vegetables, Brad. I'm sorry. So all of these pictures are coming out at some point on the Facebooks. But like that is corn.
Started with, corn on
And-
the cob. We like,
Slice it off, yeah.
slice
Mhm.
it off, and then
And there's mozzarella in there and some breadcrumbs and more
That's-
vegetables, but no, I don't remember.
those caramelized onions,
Mhm.
and
That sounds good.
yeah.
Brad,
No,
we
that's-
promise the next episode with them, you'll get more meat talking.
For mac and cheese, I eat like a 5-year-old. I chicken fingers, mac and cheese, whatever.
So this is a Gouda Mac.
Oh,
That
yeah.
I would do.
And that one I did just post not that long ago.
That I would do.
On the Facebooks, and I put the recipe because I threw something out there on Facebook. Because I'm always posting pictures of the random shit I'm making, and I was like, "Do you guys want recipes, or are you just really happy with this random whatever I made this week kind of pictures?" And so there's a strong call for recipes. So
Mm-hmm.
I think I'm going to do a recipe Wednesday situation.
Oh, nice.
I
Yeah,
just like
every-
pasta of any kind.
Every Wednesday. So that's a Gouda mac and cheese. That's darn delicious. I just posted this peach apple pie, but it had a crumb topping. That was good.
I did a bacon wrap marshmallow. Do you want the recipe for that? It's
Is it
bacon
marshmallow
and
with
marshmallow. And it's so good.
I bet it is.
Have you done the bacon wrapped Oreos?
I did. I have.
Yeah, and you put sriracha in the middle, right?
I did not.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So you untwist them, put a dab of sriracha in there, smash those bitches back together, wrap it up with like a half slice. Well, it's either a third or a half, depending on if you use the right Oreos or not. The right
I
ones
do
being
half
really
because the
fat.
bacon shrinks and I want the bacon to kind of stay all together.
Yeah, so you wrap it in bacon and then you press brown sugar and JDQ sweet. I think is what I was using. Does that feel right?
That seems right.
The JDQ sweet, maybe. I don't know, but you put a little seasoning on top. And then smoke them. And they're like,
I'm gonna have to try that.
puff up, all delicious in the.
I'm just wondering what the wrong kind of Oreos are. I've never
Oh,
had
just the little regular sad Oreo, because Oreos are gross. Like, let's be
They're
real.
not gross.
No,
My
they're
son's
not.
favorite food in the entire world, but I don't like chocolate. So the
Oreos and milk are my guilty pleasure.
Yep.
That chocolatey sandwich
she likes the
cookie
double
is
stuff.
not delicious. So you have to like the more creamy filling. And listen, gents, this is the rule for all women. The more creamy filling there is, the more we want to put it in our mouth.
Oh my god.
Addicted to the Q after dark.
She has not been drinking today, gentlemen. I don't know.
I was gonna say this reminds me of the night of the Royal whenever she was drinking.
Yeah.
It was all fun and games until Alan had to bring out the roll-'em
Oh
table.
my god. Yeah, that
No, a guy at work has like, I don't know what it's called. It's like ultimate stuff or something. That thing is like this thick.
I like to go.
And it's all like cream in the middle, like an Oreo.
she's a 5-year-old, guys. I'm sorry. She's
I'm just over here thinking about all the cream and getting ultimately stuck.
Sure, you haven't been drinking.
Mm-mm. Just some, we actually are drinking this like pineapple lemonade that's been in our fridge for a minute, so it might be fermented.
You think? I don't think so.
It doesn't taste fermented.
We had
but
pretty good fun that night at the Royal that Friday night.
That was a good time.
I'm a good time.
Amanda, Robert, Tess, Brian,
Wheeze,
Katie, Zach.
That's a good little spot.
It was a good spot.
We should talk about those onion rings in Little Rock.
Okay. Yeah, this isn't in California, but the best onion rings I've ever had in the world so far. It's been at this town in Little Rock. There's this little brewery called Flyway. And not Fly Away, just Flyway. Anyway, they bring these onion rings out. I love onion rings. And I take a bite of one. And I look at Amy. I'm like, this just rocked my world. It's amazing. Got to try this. So I get her to try it. And then a few nights later, we're out with some of our coworkers and we go to the same place. I'm like, you guys got to try the onion rings. Like they're going to blow your mind away.
Like we ordered like 5 baskets of onion rings just to pass around the table as an appetizer. They were so good.
So we found out they use
funnel
cake batter.
Oh.
The batter. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And it just makes for a much better mouthfeel all around. And it's just, it's chewy, but not too chewy. It's
got that crunch.
It's got that crunch. It's just, I mean, you picture a funnel cake now, get the savory of an onion ring to it. And man,
I'll have to try that.
Yeah.
It was so good. So good.
My next round with onion rings. Oh, go ahead, Brad. I'm sorry.
I think I've gained 10 pounds listening to this show.
Oh, yeah. No kidding. Because it's that double stuff, the creamy feeling.
That's exactly it.
My next round with onion rings I want to do is that bacon wrap cheeseburger type, where it's the burger, cheese, onion,
Yeah.
That's the next. That's the next one I want to do.
I don't know. That bacon wrap honey bun I've seen before looked pretty good too.
That does too.
Mhm.
I think I've seen that one. But the sweetness and I think that's delicious.
Do the bacon wrap marshmallow. Take a full piece of bacon, cook it to like 3/4 of the way on your grill, pull it off, cut it in half, wrap a big marshmallow, and just let it finish cooking around the marshmallow, and then eat it. And then you're just
Have you put that on a s'mores? Did you put it on a s'mores yet?
I've tried a bacon wrap s'mores, and I cannot get it to where the marshmallow will stay there. So I'm going to try it with how I cook the bacon for the bacon wrap marshmallow. And then I'm going to try it that way. I think it'll work that way.
That's a.
And you really got my head thinking on that one. And it has to. You got to put peanut butter on that s'more.
Oh, I never thought about that.
Oh.
Have we not talked about peanut butter on them?
Man,
we haven't talked about s'mores.
No,
they don't have peanut butter. They don't have s'mores. Don't have peanut butter on them.
Listen.
Oh, if it deals with peanut butter, I'll try it. That's like bacon too.
It's Hershey's.
I have a whole level of s'mores. Like, okay, because we started making s'mores when I was Girl Scout. So, I mean, I've been cooking s'mores since I was like 7.
Peanut butter on them.
The best s'more ever. Best s'more ever is a Ritz cracker with spookulos, although some people prefer peanut butter, right? But some cookie butter on that Ritz. And then the Reese's, like, because you can buy them in a flat bar now. So you break off some of that Reese's, and then you do your marshmallow and a little bit of cookie butter on the top Ritz. And then you get the salt, you get the crunch, you get the chocolate, you get the marshmallow, you get a little peanut butter, you get that cookie butter. Like, it is amazing.
It is really good.
So a lot of people, just do that basic where they're, burning the shit out of a marshmallow, which BT dubs is the wrong way. But
that's my way. I love it.
Catch it on fire. I like to have it taste like charcoal.
Anyway,
so gross. But a lot of people are, it's they're just taught the like traditional way. You get a graham cracker and a little bit of a Hershey's and a and you smash it together. But you take it to that next level when you do it on a Ritz instead of a graham cracker, because then you get the salty and the crunch is better. And then you start adding in spreads. So we've done like that marshmallow chocolate. Isn't it marshmallow or is it a white chocolate, dark chocolate? I don't know. It's something they make for kids that, is just mixed into a container. So we've tried that.
Marshmallow fluff and a chocolate.
Yeah,
something with it.
Is that what it is?
I think
thinking
so.
maybe it was white and regular. I don't know. Anyway, we've tried that. We've tried cookie butter. We've tried peanut butter. Any kind of a spread. We've tried jams are really good. Bananas. So you start adding some other things in there. Bananas, a slice of apple. I always am pulling out the weird chocolate bars. So like a symphony bar a crunch bar or a Kit Kat, or what I think is the best is the Reese's. Like, oh man, it just takes it to a whole nother level. Oh, I love it.
We kind of like s'mores.
I love it. S'mores.
Like
just
Peanut
listening
butter and jelly
to it,
s'more. That sounds good.
It makes me want to figure out how to take what you just described with the Ritz cracker and turn it into like a cupcake, like a mini muffin pan s'mores.
So when Glenn and I don't think we were married yet. I think we were just dating, but I got it into my head that I needed to make a s'mores cake. And this thing was delicious, but it was so outrageously messy. So I ended up cooking, it was like a chocolate cake, or was it like a crumb cake?
I don't know.
It was so long ago. I think it was chocolate cake. And then I was putting like crushed up graham cracker crumbs and marshmallow fluff between each layer, and then wrapped it in crumb and some, I think, peanut butter to hold it in there or whatever. But it was that same kind of thing. But that marshmallow fluff is so messy when you're cutting into it, and it like oozes out everywhere, and it was a whole thing. So I did finally nail that texture and like the flavor, and then I like never made it again because it was so
It was a lot of work.
awful to put together.
But Brian, you were talking about a muffin pan kind of idea, like just stack it with the cracker and stuff in the pan, and then kind of do it that way, like.
Something like
you were talking about a muffin.
No.
Yeah, like make like a cupcake outer shell, and then just stuff all the innards of that s'mores on the inside somehow. But it'd probably be pretty for like a turn-in if it was like layered and they cut into it and it's just layered.
Right.
Right. You can do like a graham cracker kind of crust like a cheesecake on the sides and the bottom, and then fill it in the middle with like your s'more stuff.
Yeah, but then you'd want to add salt with that graham cracker, because I agree, s'mores needs that salt.
Yeah.
You know, you could do the salt as a garnish though. So if you did it like a
What's that
small
salt you have?
what?
Maldon salt?
Maldon.
Yeah, Maldon.
Maldon. Yeah. So if you did like those little, you can buy pre-crust, graham cracker pre-crusts that are just about
tiny
big.
Yeah.
Anyway, they're like individual serving. And then you could put like your marshmallow in there and your peanut butter and your bacon, and then top it with a chocolate ganache and a little bit of sea salt.
Yeah.
And you would get that whole s'moresy flavor and deliciousness, but the presentation would be elevated.
Have a little piece of bacon sticking out in the middle.
Yeah.
As that chocolate kind of sets.
Yeah. Yeah, that'd be good.
All right, so we're going in together on dessert turn-in for the American Royal.
There we go.
Come cook my dessert.
I'm like, let's do it. We'll be back to compete, pretending like we're competing. We'll be back in Kansas around time for the Royal, so I'm not against it.
So you guys are heading north from there to is Oregon where the big redwoods are?
No, Northern California is where the redwoods are.
Okay.
Where Red Bluff is, and so we'll spend about a week there. I think a week in Oregon, and then almost 2 or 3 weeks in Washington.
No, I think we're just there for a week. Like, we wanted to be there a little bit longer, but because then we're gonna haul ass to Wisconsin.
Oh, okay.
Except that we're not, because we decided we're not doing that anymore, where we drive for 2 days or 3 days at a time, because it's just really terrible. We're gonna drive a little bit and stay for a week, and drive a little bit and stay for a week, and drive for a little bit and stay for a week. So I think we're only there for a week.
Okay. Well, so anyway, we're heading up the coast, spend a little time in Oregon, Washington, and then kind of make way over to Wisconsin. We'll be in Wisconsin for a month.
Yeah.
And then down through Iowa, Nebraska. We've got stops there for friends and family in Iowa, Nebraska, and then finally back to Kansas in July. So
nice.
That's good.
Yeah. And we knew we'd be jonesing for a barbecue comp. So we took all of our smokers except our teeny tiny little pellet smoker, and we put it in storage so that we couldn't talk ourselves into a comp, even though we got a little tipsy a couple days ago and almost talked ourselves into a comp in Wisconsin or in Washington.
Yeah. I was like, oh, we could
do it.
We could do it this one smoker. We just got to do it this way. And I started timing it out, like building a timeline.
That's hilarious. Are you guys doing box practices at all?
We haven't done any box practice with it, but
I mean, that's a lot of kale and parsley to eat.
Yeah. Who wants to do that? I'll ship all the kale to Brad. Looks like he wants it.
Somebody said kale tastes like I'd rather be fat.
Yeah, it does.
Yes, I agree with that 100%. And we've talked about kale before. Like, we don't do fancy kale boxes. No, we buy chopped kale and dump it in there 10 seconds before we turn it in. Now, having said that, Cam really enjoys building a kale box, and kid made like $300 at Pusaq building boxes for other teams. So he's an enterprising little sucker, and he did a really good job on those boxes. One of them finished top 10, or a couple I think got some calls. Like,
and for those, he uses the regular full leaf kale. It's not chopped kale, so he spends a lot of time
rolls it up, and
we had our comp. Yeah, I love chopped kale for that. Couldn't find it at any store, so I bought heads, ripped the stalks off, and just went through with the butcher and just started chopping it real fast. I was like, I don't care.
Yeah.
So do you plan like restaurant stops also? Like when you get to, say you're going to Washington, have you already pre-looked at restaurants up there that you might want to hit?
Not necessarily for Washington. Glenn's really, well, one of our best friends, his mom lives in Seattle, and she went to Cordon Bleu. So whenever we get together, we food nerd pretty hard, all of us. So I don't know if we'll go out to eat much in Seattle. We'll probably be cooking a lot,
unless you have recommendations.
But I know I want to go see the Seattle Butcher's Wife. We're probably gonna stop in and say hi to her, and then I don't know. Food is good.
When we were in Little Rock, though, we had quite a few recommendations there before we got there, and just Little Rock has a surprisingly excellent food scene that I didn't know was a huge thing there, and I was pleasantly surprised to a lot of the experiences I had in Little Rock there. So first time I'd really spent any time in the city. So, but I've never thought of Little Rock as a food place, but yeah, they've got a pretty good little scene.
Solid. And the grocery stores are good.
Yeah.
Like, I'm obsessed with a grocery store. That's how I decide if your city is worth it or not.
Oh yeah.
So I need a real good grocery store. I do. We went grocery shopping today, and almost every single thing that we bought in the produce section was organic, and the prices were very similar to the conventional. And like, to me, that's a good grocery store. Like, I need to have a lot of variety in my produce section, and I need to be able to buy those things organically, and that's fun. And then we always go into the meat section too and look at like what are people eating around here, because we had a really good time in the South, and we went to St. Croix, like walking through that meat section, because their normal everyday meat is like stuff I knew it was a thing, but like I had never seen that in a store in Kansas, and not even at some of the like specialty Asian stores or whatever, like because it's just so different.
Yeah. But like in California here, pork is not as common, like pork ribs, not as common to find a big selection of ribs. And
they're weirdly expensive.
And they're
weirdly it's like expensive. $25 for a crappy pork rib.
Yeah. And we want to make them
be bigger out there.
Is what?
Seafood, like fish and all that.
Yeah, seafood's way a lot more seafood. Yeah. That's exactly right. But when we're kind of known for ribs or whatever, and we're visiting family in San Diego, and it's like they want us to cook ribs. We're like, okay. So I'm like trying to source good ribs. I'm like,
can't find them anywhere.
Get what you get. But they don't,
They don't know.
Yeah. They don't know that I didn't care for the selection, and they were just happy to have, chance to eat the food and, talk to each other. So
that's good.
That's good.
Have you guys been at each stop on, like, I know New Zealand, you guys took up some of the culture, learned how to cook some of the foods they had. Have you done that? Like, I mean, obviously Arkansas is Midwest, so we already know that.
Yeah.
But like California, have you picked up like red snapper or anything like that?
I haven't done the red snapper yet, but that'd be fun to try.
Just the cuisine out there. Tried something that they eat more of.
We have picked up things along the way. So like when we were in Oklahoma, we did the smoked bologna, which is very much an Oklahoma thing. And then now in California, picking up the tri-tip and kind of adding that to the repertoire of things that you've tried. And
and the Baja taco situation is like, you can, we can get them back home, but it's just not the same as out here. So like fish tacos everywhere and shrimp tacos, and they're just served differently, right? Like with a pile of coleslaw.
For starters, the selection of fish can be more than just cod, or tilapia. Like it's like, you've got, like you said, red snapper. You've got like lots of other kinds of like red snappers are really good. Like the fatty part of red snapper is, I don't know, I just love it so much. I never really thought about it that much until I had fish and chips with red snapper and fish and chip with something else. I was just like, oh my God, that red snapper was
so good.
So much better. And we just had a bunch of them side by side. And it was like, okay, all right. Yes, I never would have thought.
That's right. So when we were in New Zealand, same kind of thing, fish everywhere. Yeah. And they have places that specialize in fish and chips. And so you go in there and it's not just, okay, I'll order fish and chips. It's what kind of fish do you want? And there's like 15 options. Wow. And we're looking at our cousins and we're like, they're like, what do you want? And we're like, well, we've only ever had cod or halibut. Like, I don't know. What do I want? And so they're like, oh, okay. So they order 3 fish we've never heard of before, and then snapper, and and we just had this buffet of all of this different fish, and it was so good.
So when you said red snapper just now, I was like, oh yeah, I really do like that fish. That could be really interesting. So yeah.
I'm like, that'd be a delicious taco.
Now the Baja tacos, they do like fresh lime squeeze on it, don't they?
Yeah, you get fresh lime squeeze, and they're always served with some kind of coleslaw. We ate at a Farmhouse 78 when we were down in it's like between Ramona and Julian, California, and they had a kale coleslaw. And I don't love kale, guys. I don't love it. I'll choke it down, but I could barely taste it. Like, and it wasn't just kale. Like, it was mixed with cabbage and whatnot. But their sauce was so good that it wasn't like sticking to your tongue and the roof of your mouth and being really dry and gross in the way that kale is. And you got 2 of them, and they were so big that I just asked for a box and put one in a box and brought it home to the teenager, and he hoovered that down in seconds. And I was like, there was kale in that. And he's like, no. Like, it was so good though, right?
Nice.
It's just, yeah. So it's been really fun to see the way that they change things up so that the food feels lighter and it's not as heavy here, even though it's just as filling.
Yeah.
And it's just that California way, and I'm a big fan. We were going to take a Thai cooking class, but it didn't work out. It made my heart sad. Or no, was it Thai? I don't know. Glenn wanted to learn how to make dumplings.
Yeah.
So maybe it was Chinese. I don't remember. Didn't work out.
I just tried the other day with pulled pork egg rolls. Epic failure. I was like, I followed the recipe to the T, but I'm like, I'm not going to cook it how they want to cook it. I'm going to cook it how I want to cook it.
Yeah.
And all I got was blowout after blowout. I was like, I'm still going to eat them, but I need to get better at this.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, yeah, it's all good.
If you're not failing a little bit, you're not pushing yourself really to learn. You know what I mean? Like, so yeah.
I could have deep fried and gone, full bore, stink the house up, make the wife mad. Didn't want to do that. I was like, I don't want to do the oven like they're saying. I'm going to try the air fryer. And we got a Bluetooth, Wi-Fi, 25 different. I mean, it can ferment, it can dehydrate, it can do, you name it, it can do it. And I had it on the wrong setting. I didn't have it on air fryer. I think it was like, I don't know what it was. So like 5 minutes in, I'm like, oh, something's not right. Even the wonton was not like bubbling, frying up right. I'm like, oh, so I switched it over to air fryer. And I'm like, do I restart it? Maybe I do. I don't know. Because the recipe didn't have Brian messes up in it.
Yeah.
What happens when you have too many buttons, Brian?
Oh, trust me, it's an awesome air fryer.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was like, oh, we're gonna do it. So the ends were getting there, and the middle just went. I was like, well, I'm still gonna eat it. It was still good.
So the next time you decide to try egg rolls, make up some cheesecake batter and put like blueberries or strawberries in, and then wrap those up in an egg roll.
Oh,
And
dessert.
now you've got
the
regular
wonton.
and your dessert, or and the wonton.
Yeah.
And you've
Yeah.
got both. That's a good
That
good way to
sounds
go.
good.
Yeah.
I'll have to do that. I might just do that for the fun of it.
I mean,
There you go.
it's a good dessert. Like, it's a really quick, easy, like, yeah.
I mean, it was just 3 pulled pork wontons real quick, egg rolls. So I'm gonna try it. You know, Weekend Bum did it. Kevin, his were great. He did his on his smoker though. Mine was like, oh, I'm gonna just read a recipe and do something real quick, but whatever.
So he did the wontons on his smoker?
Yeah, he did pork. I think he said he did his egg rolls on his smoker. If he didn't, he did them in his oven.
No, I'm like, that's interesting. I just feel like it wouldn't like bubble and get crunchy, but we have to play with that now.
Well, you can get that up to 400 or 500 degrees.
We can get ours up to 700.
Well,
Yeah.
Hashtag RecTech.
Yeah, we're not sponsored by RecTech, but they make a
I wish we were.
amazing like little machine for being able to hit 750 is what it'll actually hit.
Is it the travel one?
The bullseye.
It's the
It's
bullseye.
like
Oh, the bullseye.
$400.
Yeah, that might have been what
It's
Kevin
so
did his
inexpensive.
on.
It is the bullseye.
Yeah, that might have been what he did his on.
Such a great machine. Yeah, but I have learned you have to clean it out when you're doing a lot longer cooks, because we'd never used it for like long cooks like ribs or anything. It was always chicken and steak and short cooks, and so I'd go a while without cleaning it. But I did several like rib cooks on it just here as we've been traveling, and next thing I know, I'm like having weird major heat fluctuations. Like fire was going out, and then all of a sudden roaring back.
Like
and
500 and
what the heck?
200.
Pull it up. It's like, oh yeah, no, it was just full of ash. Like it had just gotten so quickly. I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Lesson learned on this pit. If you're doing longer cooks, you got to clean it more. So.
Yep.
And ours is compounded by the humidity.
Yeah.
Like we're kind of known for bringing the rain now. Everywhere we go, it's just they're like, it doesn't usually rain like this, and I'm like, I hear that every time.
Ash had like caked in the bucket where the feeds in the pellets into, and like so it was just
strong humidity had turned it into
Yep.
into its own charcoal.
I bet that was fun cleaning it out.
It didn't take too much, just a little shot back, and it was good. But yeah, it wasn't bad. It's just like I'm like, man, we went through competition season. I cleaned it like, the other cookers I was cleaning every week, pretty much, and like because they were my ribs cookers and other stuff, and they just got dirtier quicker. But the RecTech, I'm like, I just barely ever worried about cleaning it. But yeah, no, now I know. So.
Which, in all honesty, the only reason Glenn was cooking cleaning the rib smokers is because we were pulling them back into the house and traveling around with them, and we didn't want oil and grossness to spill all over the ground.
Yeah, I mean, that's part of it.
But the first season when we weren't traveling and we didn't have a camper, we never cleaned it. We didn't clean it for like a year and a half.
But those cabinet smokers, they don't have like the grease buildup like fire problem that you have with others, and so it's like I'd scrape the grates down whenever you're ready to cook, but the really cleaning it, I didn't get too deep into it.
Yeah. Nice.
Just one more reason why a water smoker's better.
No, it's not. It's just another tool.
Awesome. So you guys will be back here summertime. That'll probably be next time we reach out to you guys.
Yep.
If you're here around July 4th, you have to show up 2 weeks before that so the rain can follow and then leave before fireworks.
Do you run a fireworks? Like, do you put up a tent or whatever, like sell fireworks or anything, or just?
No, it's just for me to shoot them with the kids.
Yeah, okay. I wondered. Yeah,
it's kind of a pyromaniac.
Yeah, we'll be in Nebraska. We'll be real close to Omaha.
They can have
on the 4th of July, and then our oldest child turns 21 on the 6th of July. So we're gonna go drinking with her. With my baby.
Peach mimosas.
Are the peach mimosas?
I mean, any kind of mimosa, I'll put that in my face. Not a cranberry mimosa, but
With the Oreos.
why are you making me make my ugly face?
I'm not. It's because
I
they're
look
filled
like a
with cream.
Muppet.
They're filled with cream.
Yeah.
I do like cream.
Mhm.
Good cream filling.
Now, I'll tell you what, though, Oreo-wise, I can't sit and just eat them. I have to have milk with them. But I think it was the Star Wars edition they had out for Christmas last year. There was like sugar crystals in it or something.
Oh.
I was just chowing on those left and right.
I really liked oh God, I don't even want to say this. Who's that singer
Post
that
Malone?
has all the face tattoos?
Post
Yeah,
Malone.
Post Malone.
Yeah.
They did a Post Malone one, and it was
Mhm.
like salted caramel
I think
and
they're still out.
Yeah.
oh yeah, they might still be out. It wasn't that long ago, and I ate that bag embarrassingly fast. And Glenn was like, "These are gross," and I'm like, "Perfect."
More for me.
Now you know how crazy I am. I've looked into Oreo along with M&Ms. You can get custom ones.
Mm.
I put my face on some M&Ms and gave them to my wife for Christmas. So
Mhm.
I'm looking
Well,
at doing
y'all,
something like that with Oreos.
All right.
That's a lot of your face.
y'all have seen what I gave Glenn with my face on it, right?
Wasn't it socks?
Well, there were some
there's
socks.
socks. There's a barbecue apron. There's also underwear that I don't usually show. Depending on how many drinks I've had, I guess. But,
Depends on how many drinks.
Yeah, it went
That's
crazy with
awesome.
that face thing.
so yeah, she's all about putting her face on stuff too.
Mhm. But in
I
all
just-
fairness, I put our kids' faces. You can get Hawaiian shirts.
Yeah.
You can put faces. So Glenn was doing this Hawaiian shirt thing for a minute. I think he wanted to make it a shtick, and then it was for like a year, and then he hasn't really worn them as much, mostly because they're polyester and they're just not. They don't breathe well.
Yeah.
But I had gotten him some Hawaiian shirts that had like our dogs' faces on them and our kids' faces, and so they're like peeking out behind those big obnoxious flowers. And
Yeah.
so it's so fun what you can personalize now.
Yep. I just think it's funny. I mean, especially seeing people open them. Oh, I got M&Ms, and they really look at it. It's like, yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm. Mhm.
You're gonna be thinking of me later.
Oh, God. Don't haunt my nightmares, please.
Yeah. Well, guys, it's been
Yes,
awesome.
thank you for coming
again
on.
so much.
Yeah.
And
Thanks
then
for having us.
we'll reach out, find you on your travels, and get it scheduled up again.
Sounds
Yeah,
great.
absolutely. Hashtag follow us on Facebook.
Hashtag Curly Bird. Hashtag Nomad Travelers. Hashtag.
Digital Nomad.
Barbecue gypsies.
Barbecue gypsies.
Yes,
No,
yes,
that's a cool
definitely.
life. I kind of wish sometimes I wish I was to do that.
Oh, it'd be awesome.
It is the life.
It is,
I'm
it
just
is
saying,
wonderful.
if anybody out there is like, man, maybe someday, like don't someday. You got to eat that ice cream now.
Yeah.
Dessert first. Do it while you're young and fun, because you never know what life's gonna bring you.
I don't like my kids in a big size house, much less a camper. Let's not go smaller.
Well, it's fine. I think there's some states where you can just like turn them
Don't,
in.
don't listen to her for parenting.
Drop 'em off the
Parenting
fire department.
advice.
I'm good on that one.
No.
Yeah, follow Curly Bird BBQ. You might get lucky, and they might start this recipe Wednesday, like she was saying.
Yep.
I did. I just started it last week.
Follow on all social media.
Next Wednesday, don't forget she's posting mine, Brian, my bacon wrap marshmallow recipe.
There you
Bacon
go.
marshmallow.
We'll see you guys later.
Put bacon around it.
See you guys.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah.